Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. Well, we had some good NFL action Sunday. The San Francisco 49ers defeated the Detroit Lions 34-31. And the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Baltimore Ravens 17-10. Both the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers will play in the upcoming Super Bowl, February 10th in Las Vegas. It'll be February 11th, in Las Vegas. It'll be a tremendous game between two teams that have been there many times before. The defending Super Bowl champs Chiefs against the six-time Super Bowl winning 49ers. And an epic game of two quality teams on the biggest stage in the NFL once a year. It was a tremendous game, both games. The 49ers were behind 20-47 at halftime, came back to win 34-31. It was just a gut-wrenching game. The Lions did not attempt 2 field goals when they had it on 4th and 2 and 4th and 1. Went for the touchdown, didn't make it. If they took the field goal, they'd have won it in hindsight. But it was the 49ers' day. They came back in the second half, made the corrections, and won the game in championship style because they're a championship caliber team. And they'll carry that 49er placard right on out to Vegas along with your Kansas City Chiefs, who've been in four of the last 5 Super Bowls. 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls. Only the Bengals that went 1 year interrupted the Chiefs from being 5 straight years in the Super Bowl. So the Chiefs are formidable, as we all know. And they are the defending world champions. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles last year. And they're trying to win back-to-back world championships. It's going to be a great game. And so I hope everybody tunes into the game. It's going to be starting at 6:30 p.m. the 11th of February in Las Vegas, Nevada. You certainly will see all the specials and shows and commercials that will be run during the Super Bowl every year. It's the biggest television program of the year by far. It is the most expensive commercials of the year by far. It is the biggest single television day of the year. It's not any other day but one, Super Bowl. And there'll be parties and there'll be specials on commercials, and it's what we all know it is. It's the biggest television event of the year and the biggest sports event of the year. And it will be 2 of the most prolific teams in NFL history, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. So we're all in for a good game. We're not going to make a pick yet. We and DJX will make one here next week, but we know it's going to be a prolific game, historic game with 2 great, and I mean this literally, great football franchises with a steeped history in success. Both have a shelf full of Vince Lombardi trophies. They know how to win them. They know how to get there. So it's going to be 2 trains colliding. Big game, good games. Y'all saw the game. The poor Ravens, they had 7 taunting and personal foul penalties. They come unglued. Lamar Jackson, the crowned MVP, of course, only scored 10 points through 2 picks. He did throw the ball up and get it tipped and caught it and ran down the field about 8 yards, which is a tremendous play. But the rest of the players of the Ravens just lost all control themselves and just gave up these penalties over and over and over again. Stupid, ridiculous penalties in a great big contest to determine who goes to the Super Bowl. And it was just terrible. Jay Flowers tried to go across the goal line, and the coaches, and even in high school, tell you don't do that. Just go down where you are, because you get first down, you can go in. But you ain't going to tell nobody nothing. They're going to try to stick that ball out, and it fell out. He just scored that touchdown. It had been a tie game. Of course, he got up after that catch and taunted the guy that tackled him, and the ball went back 15 yards. I mean, you can't make it up. But then that's what happened to the Ravens. They just self-destructed. Okay? The MVP, Lamar Jackson, didn't make it again. And as we heard on Sports Talk with the Cowboy here a couple years ago, when Dak Prescott wouldn't give the ball to the referee and the Cowboys lost the game, and we talked about how Dak and Lamar are this and that, the other, but they never can get it done. Man, they still can't. Lamar got a little bit closer this time. Give him his due. But when he showed up 10-point favorites on Sunday, didn't look too well. And that Raven team wasn't his fault, these late hits and slapping people in the head and taunting people after you catch the ball over them. It wasn't Lamar's fault. He played a pretty good game. If Jay Flowers would have scored and things would have been a little different, Ravens possibly could have won. I'm not putting it on Lamar, the loss, by no stretch. I'm putting it on the defense acting the fool and costing their team many, many yards in a real close contest that was only won by 1 touchdown. And the Ravens were in it the whole way. They could have won the game at the end, but these hiccups they were doing certainly didn't help the Ravens. On that note, Mike McDonald, the defense coordinator of the Ravens, accepted today the head coaching position at the Seattle Seahawks. So the Ravens will be without their defensive coordinator next year, along with many of their coaches, because they're all going to Seattle with Mike McDonald. This Mike McDaniel's the coach of the Dolphins. Mike McDonald's the coach of the Seahawks. So we're going to get that mixed up from now on. Okay, too close of names there. We'll keep you posted on what's going on in the NFL and this Super Bowl week. And it's going to be the culmination of a great season. And we'll just keep you posted in the next show. But know that there's 2 brilliantly executed historic teams playing each other. And you can pick whoever you want. It's not the Bucs there, but whoever you feel like you want to pull for in that game. But both of them have Super Bowl hardware. So don't feel like that one of them is going to do something they've never done before. We're going to move on now to the Tampa Bay Lightning, who won their game last night against the Vancouver Canucks in a 6-3 victory. We needed the victory. We're going to the All-Star break this weekend, the NHL All-Star game. So there's a break in regular season action in the National Hockey League while the teams participate in the NHL All-Star game up in Toronto, Canada. And the Bucs ended before the break with a victory, which is a good thing. And this is kind of the mid-season halftime, so to speak, when the All-Stars take place in the NHL. So we need to, when we get back, we'll have a few days to get our players back together and the ones that didn't get selected to the All-Star game and get back out there and try to win some hockey games going into the latter half of the season. We're in the playoffs. If it would be held today, I think we're the 5th seed of the 6 that could go. But we would like to get up higher in the seeding, and we'd like to keep winning because there's a long way of hockey to go before the playoffs. That's about all the news with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Victor Hedman and Nikita Khrushchev is going to be on the team this week up in the NHL All-Star game. But it's more of a shooting match because it's kind of like the NFL Pro Bowl or anything else, NBA. They just don't have much defense. They just shoot. But it'll be entertaining. As far as the Tampa Bay Rays, we talked to you last week about the middle of February being the start of the pitchers and the catchers going to spring training here, and it's still the same as it was last show. They will be going back in the second week of February. There's been no real big news as we've talked about the trading of Luke Raley to Seattle for their shortstop to take over for Wander Franco as starting shortstop for our team. And we picked up a pitcher and outfielder also in the winter meetings. We'll get them all together here after the pitchers and catchers in the middle of February start. About the end of February, the rest of the team will show up, and we can start spring training games here in the state of Florida and out in Arizona the first day of March. And the first day of April will be the first time the first pitch of the first game in Major League Baseball starts. We'll keep you posted on what's going on there. This Sunday, up at Daytona, at the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona, Porsche won for the first time since 1969. They won the overall victory. Roger Penske and the Porsche team defeated the Cadillac team in Daytona. The 24-hour Rolex, the reseed competition Ferrari won their class, the GT Pro. We had a Mercedes-Benz win the GT class, and an Orca won the LM2 class. But the overall winner was Porsche, beating out Cadillac in a tough race, 24 hours long in Daytona Sunday. Of course, next stop on that second race of the year will be the 16th of March at the Mobil One 12 Hours of Sebring. So we'll keep you posted on all that goes on there, and we'll keep you posted in racing. Of course, the NASCAR Cup Series will start in another week up at Daytona. Valentine's weekend, of course, will be the Daytona 500, which will be the biggest cup race of the year. And it's kind of odd they start the Super Bowl of their sport, the first race. But they do. And we'll keep you posted on what's going on up at Daytona with the NASCAR cars as they prepare for their Daytona 500. And that's about all that's going on this week in sports as far as major sports news is concerned. There were some coaching changes. We had Dave Canales, as we said last week, go to the Carolina Panthers, our offensive coordinator. And we also had Raheem Morris, our former coach after John Gruden, which was out where the Rams as their defensive coordinator, take over for the Atlanta Falcons. And then we told you about the Seattle hiring the defensive coordinator of Baltimore today. There is one job left. The Washington Commander job is the last NFL head coaching position left open as of shooting of this show. So we'll keep you posted on what goes on with that last position. And now we'll go to the questions. And the first question is from Beverly. And Beverly wanted to know what I thought about the chances of Mayfield and Evans being re-signed by the Bucs in the offseason. And Beverly, I think it's a pretty good chance we will. A lot of people don't think, but one of them will be coming back. I think both will. We'll have to present them with a good contract, both of them with a high-dollar contract. But I think we can get it done, Beverly, if we get rid of Devin White, which we're going to, and Ryan Neal and some of these other players that have big contracts, so we can pay those two. Because one won't want to be there without the other. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. And I'm also pretty sure that both of them want to stay in Tampa if they have the opportunity. So thank you for your question, Beverly. And the next question is from Mike. And Mike wanted to know what I thought about the coaches that have left with Dave Canales. And Mike, the wide receiver coach, the offensive line coach, the offensive assistant head coach, and he was the running back coach, also have left to go with Dave Canales. I think it's a major blow to the team. I won't sit here and tell you it's not. But, Mike, whoever the new offensive coordinator of the Bucs is going to be, I'm sure will want to bring on his guys anyhow. So I guess it was better for them to have gone with Canales than to stay. And it's a new opportunity. And, it happens, and maybe they paid him more money. I don't know the personal situations. I knew at least one of those coaches had a home in Asheville, North Carolina, and he went to Charlotte. So it's pretty close to home for him. And, we don't know what the financial situations was, but Canales knew them, and they knew Canales. And so the new head coach, if the new offensive coordinator was to come in, he might fire all these coaches we're talking about and then not have a job. Or he might have kept them. We don't know. He's not bound to keep them. So I guess it was a good move. But, Mike, I think we'll be all right when we get a new offensive coordinator. We'll just have to wait and see. But we're praying everything will go good and we get the right guy. And I'm sure, Mike, that Jason Licht's letting Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans given the input of who they want as the offensive coordinator. It kind of sounds strange that they would do that, but they do that. So I'm sure Mayfield and Evans has given Jason Licht, the general manager, this is the guy we want. And I'm sure he's out there trying his best. He's been real quiet, Jason Licht has, because he's been busy. So, Mike, good question. God bless you. Thank you for your question. And then Tammy wanted to know what I thought about the race at Rolex. Tammy, I thought it was a wonderful race. I watched about 15 hours of it, coverage. And it was a great race. It was a tough race, and it came down to the last lap and the last pit stop. And that's how good a racing it was in all three different categories. There wasn't any serious wrecks, Tammy. The weather was good. Beautiful, beautiful weather. Good crowd and good race. Very good race. No one was hurt. There was a few wrecks, but nothing serious. Nobody had to be transported by ambulance out of the field or off the track. And everybody had a pretty competitive race. It was a very, very good race. In each class, LP, LMP class, the GT Pro and the GT class, and the prototype class. Every class had battles within the class, and that's exactly what they wanted. So it was a great, great, great race. God bless you, Tammy. Thank you for your question. DJX, what you got for me tonight?
Well, Cowboy, you know what it is. Let's get right off into it, buddy. Well, I'm pumped up, Cowboy. It's the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
And two of my finest teams is in it.
There you go.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
There you have it.
All right. Mahomes or McCaffrey?
Mahomes.
Mahomes. All right. Elaborate.
Mahomes, just probably the greatest quarterback out there right now, a magician with the ball, tough little scoundrel, trying to cement his legacy. Of course, the greatest of all time. He played in the Super Bowl in Tampa a few years ago, and Tom Brady and Ron Gronkowski beat Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Don't believe that they didn't. When they played them, they didn't think we want to be like them. And they went on. They won a Super Bowl before they got to play us.
Yeah.
And they won another one since. So they know how to win them. But I'm sure Brady and Gronk said when they played them too, they're a lot like us. And they are. And if you ever notice when Mahomes in trouble, he'll throw it to Kelce. And you can have 6 men on Kelce, and he can be asleep, turn his head back around with one finger and grab it. Because he knows exactly like a radar, kind of like Gronk and Brady.
So he like the Magic Johnson
and
football.
Yeah, and that's how it is. With that ball, how he throws it sidearm. And his father, as we all know, Patrick Mahomes' father was a professional baseball pitcher. And he was raised in a locker room from 5, 6 years old all the way to a grown man with professional athletes. And he was going to be a professional pitcher. And if you've noticed how he throws that football every other way with that hand, genetics, history, and evolution has formed him. And he is quite formidable. When you think he's gone down with one arm behind his back, he'll throw one over his shoulder and hit a guy 30 yards down the field.
Yeah, I seen him do some
And nothing against McCaffrey. He's a great running back. He is excellent running back. I think he's the best running back in pro football. He can catch it. I seen him. He first came to the 49ers from the Panthers. He ran a touchdown in. They flipped him a ball, and he threw one himself in like the quarterback would. And then they threw a touchdown to him. So he ran one, threw one, and caught one. Christian McCaffrey, no taking away from that guy.
Right.
Okay, he is excellent at what he does. Both of them are superstars in their own right. But one of them's a quarterback, one of them's a running back. So I'm going to go with Mahomes.
All right. Packers hire Boston College head coach.
Well, he's going to be an offensive assistant for them, and I think he's adequate at doing it. He wants to move out of the college ranks and move into the NFL and build him a resume, and that's how you do it. And you take a position, whatever it could be in that football team, and you move up when the coaches leave till you get to where you want to be. Right. And hopefully one day you get to be a head coach. So good for him, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it whatsoever.
Bucks best options at offensive coach.
Thad Lewis, in my opinion, the quarterback coach. He's 36 years old. He hasn't ever been an offensive coordinator. He was hired by Bruce Arians back when Tom Brady was with us and we won the Super Bowl. He's been a quarterback coach. He was offensive assistant then. Now he's a quarterback coach the last 2 years with Todd Bowles. But he's never called a play. But never did Dave Canales call a play until this year, and look what we did. And then look where he's at as a head coach. I think Thad Lewis, because Thad Lewis knows every player on the team as a quarterback coach. He's been with the team longer than Canales because he's been there 3 years. He knows the culture. He knows the players. They know him. Baker knows him. He's his coach. So if he moves up to be the offensive coordinator, Thad Lewis, I think he could keep a lot of the same stuff Canales had, because he knows it all. I mean, not every play, but the terminologies and things like that. So Thad Lewis would be my inside the house guy, and then outside the house, there's a lot of them. Kim Dorsey, Andy Van Pelt, who was a coordinator when Baker went to the playoffs with the Browns looking for a job. Baker knows him, but it's too close to call. I think Thad Lewis would be the guy, but he doesn't have any actual play calling, sitting there calling the plays. But neither did Dave Canales when he was a quarterback coach out in Seattle. Right. And he did pretty damn good. So it's a tough call.
All right. Chiefs versus Rams, Lions versus 49ers. Break down the difference in the two dynamics versus Chiefs versus 49ers coming up.
The Chiefs are a methodical team, as is the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
They are adaptable, and they can see where they are deficient and change on a dime. That's what makes them good. If you see you're not being successful at what you either one are doing, you can change it during the middle of the game, which most teams cannot. They just don't have, some of them don't have the wherewithal to be able to play just the one plan, more or less change it around. The dynamics is going to be running McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, the tight end of San Francisco, all three superstars. And for the 49, for the Chiefs, stopping them, taking them out of the game, like the Lions did last week and the Packers the week before. They took out Samuel and they took out Kittle. Samuel still got a few. McCaffrey got a couple of great runs on him. But they've got three weapons there that are all superior weapons, and you're only going to be able to take a couple of them out of the game. So you're going to have to figure the one you don't want in the game. Now all three can beat you.
Yeah.
49ers are a dynamic team with a great linebacker core, great rushers, great coaches, great general. They just great, just like the Chiefs. For the Chiefs, get it to Travis Kelce, but get it to the other receivers. Travis is going to be double covered. So when the game starts, let them double cover Travis and throw to the other receivers. Let them catch the ball. The 49er defensive coach will say, we got to cover the other receivers and quit doubling up on Kelce. When they do that, throw to Kelce. Just like they did against the Ravens. Throw to Kelce. Because you're covering the ones that have been catching it. That's the plan with the Chiefs. Chiefs got a little bit of running game. That Pacheco, or the guy from Rutgers, he's a tough little running back, but he don't match up with Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey will go the distance. Christian McCaffrey will throw a touchdown on you like a quarterback, catch it and run it. He's a one-man Swiss Army knife, okay? And Deebo Samuel is just as good. So these 49ers ain't nothing to play with.
I like a team that got a good running game.
They got them running game.
As long as you got a good running game.
They got him a running game.
I like that running game.
They got the best running back in football right now, Christian McCaffrey, as far as I'm concerned. Now that everybody says, oh, Cowboy, this guy, I don't care what they, Christian McCaffrey, I got my team, I'm putting him on there as running back.
And to add, I'm going to close with this. The way that the Ravens protect their quarterback is the way the Bucs need to protect Mayfield.
Yeah.
That's the way the Bucs need to protect him. Then he won't choke up and make them stupid passes like that. He got to get comfortable. See, the Ravens quarterback was comfortable. He had a lot of time to sit there and throw the ball. He could throw it any direction he wanted to because he was protected. Wasn't a lot of people rushing him.
Right.
So that's what Mayfield needs.
Right.
That's what he needs.
Our offensive line this year was better than last year's with Brady. We got some different players, and we got better at it. But we do need to change, like we said last show, that center with Hainsey and put that guy in the middle. And we've been looking at some kids out of college. One kid from Oregon is about 6'9", about 375. They say he is the stud center, and you can trust and believe come draft night that the Bucs. Everybody can take all these flashy players, and just like DJX says, hey, that center from Oregon, he's still on the board when the Bucs get their first pick. He's going to be wearing pewter next year, okay? And he's going to be plugged right into that, just what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'll put him right in there, okay?
Yeah.
Because redheaded Jensen, of course, he's out. He's retired. And we had to put Hainsey in. He's all we had. And you could tell that center of the line, like DJX is talking about, crushed on Mayfield.
Yeah.
And with this new center they've been looking at in the Senior Bowl, which they're playing this Saturday, by the way, in Mobile, Alabama. If you want to watch some college players that'll be going in the draft, that's why all the scouts are up there watching them. Who is Jason Light looking at up there? Quarterback? No. A center from Oregon. That's who he's looking at. So you're right, DJX.
Right.
And then the Bucs are well on their way to doing something about that very project. If not him, somebody that plays that position.
Right on. Well, that's what I got for you tonight, Cowboy.
Well, thank you, DJX, and God bless each and every one of you for tuning into the show. Continue to send your comments. Continue to share with your friends. And be good to one another. Too much hate in this world. Too much evil in this world. Let's make it the world that Jesus would want us to make it. And until next show, God bless you. Cowboy out.
Have you ever had a dreams that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?